Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, our next topic of Python is if statements. In if statement, we will study three types of statements: if statement, if else statement, and else if ya elif statement. Difference between if and elif statement. First of all, we will study if statement. In if statement, first we see the syntax. In the syntax of if statement, you can see the keyword if, then the condition, and then colons. And after that, following that, in the next line, one or more than one statements that are connected with this if statement. The condition is actually the conditional expression which is used, which uses the conditional operators like we studied earlier, less, greater, equality, and also can also include Boolean operators too. And if this condition is true, then the statement related to the if will execute. And if the condition is false, then the statement related with the if statement will not execute. For example, we have the value x is equals to 3. And if x is less than 4, if this condition is true, then the statement print value of x is smaller than 4 will be printed or displayed. If here the x is the value of x is 5, then the result of the statement will not be printed because the condition becomes false. X less than 4. It is a condition which becomes false, and when it becomes false, the related statement will not be displayed or executed. Now in next example, we have imported a function rand integer from the module random, and we have generated random integer and stored in the variable number. This random integer will be between 1 and 10. And next we have input our own guess that what value would be the number can store, and then in if statement we compared these two values, guess and number, and if these two are equal, then the statement will be printed, you got it. And if these two values are not equal, then condition becomes false and the print statement will not execute. You can see in the syntax and both of the examples that after the condition there is a colon symbol, no brackets are being used around condition, and the statements related with the if, when if is true, if statement is true, the statements that are going to be executed are indented and placed after some space and not in alignment with the if statement. This is necessary in Python because if you do not properly indent this statement, then this is not considered as the related part of if statement and will not be executed and raise error. Now we go to our next topic, that is our next type of if statement, that is if else statement. If condition is false, then we want to execute something else. In this case, the syntax of the statement will be if condition and a colon statement, and then if the condition is true, then the statement related with the if will execute. And if the condition is false, then next on the next line else and related statement will execute. Now there is no condition in the else because condition is only checked in the if, either it will be true or false. On the case when it is true, the statement with if will execute, and if it is false, then the statement with else will be executed. You can study it with this example, like x equals to 2. If x equals to 2, if the value of x is same as 2, in first statement we have assigned the value to the variable x, and in second if condition we are comparing 2 and x by using equality operator. Here if both of the values are same, then the result that x equals 2 will be printed, and if the value of x is not 2, for example we have assigned a value to x that is 3 or 4, then the else statement will be printed that x does not equal to 2. So we can also execute statements when the conditions are false. Now third type of statement is Elif statement. In if else we have studied we can combine more than one else if else statement to execute more than one statement. Here the syntax of elif or else if. First of all we place a condition then statement, then the keyword elif, then the condition and statement, and so on, and at the last the else statement. Uh, we explain it with the help of the grading example. We have stored and input a value that is stored in the percentage. We have inputted the percentage score of a student, and it is placed in the variable percent. Now here we compare the value of the percent with different conditions and find that what is the grade. And here first of all we place if percent greater than equals to 90, then print a. If percent greater than equals to 80, then print b. If if percent greater than equals to 70, then print c, and so on. And if any of the above condition is not true, then in the last case we place else, that print f. Here first condition will be checked, and if it is true then any of the following condition will not be checked, and if first is false then the second condition which is connected with elif, that is 80, will be checked. If it is true then print b is then through print b is executed and the grade b is printed, and further the below statements will not be checked and executed. And if the third statement is true, then next any one of the statement will not be executed. Here we can connect more than one conditions at the same time. In using this is one statement which has one if and many if else. There is no limit how many number of values or you can compare, or how many number of if conditions you can place. And last else is actually used when any one of the condition is not true above that, then else will, the statement related with else will be executed. Now next is difference between if and elif. If we execute the above program by using if statement, then we have to place each time the condition related with if, and all statements will be separately checked even if any one of the statement will be true. Then if for example here in this case, if the grade equals to 90, print a. Grade equals to above 80 and less than 90, and grade is equal to greater than 70 and less than 80. Here we have combined two conditions, And when using elif, we do not have to use and operator and grade less than 90. That is, we do not have to specify the range. The elif statement automatically specify the range by looking at the previous condition. Uh, you can compare this set of instructions or code with the previous slide to differentiate between if and if with the separate if statements. Each condition is checked regardless of whether it really needs to be. That is, if the score is 95, the first program will print A but then continue and check to see if the score is A, B, C, etc. so on. But which is the bit of waste of the time. But using elif, as soon as we find where the score matches, we stop checking condition and skip all the way to the end of the whole block of if statements and continue to execute next program. An added benefit of using else if is that the condition we use in elif statements are simpler than in the if counterpart. For instance, in the previous two examples, when using elif, the second part of the second if condition, that is grade is less than 90, becomes unnecessary because corresponding to the elif does not have to worry about the score of the 90 or above. As such, a score would have already been caught by the first if statement. That the meaning of these sentences is that if we use if statement in the previous example, we have combined the two conditional expressions with and specified the range. And in elif we do not use and we do not merge the or combine two conditions, and we only specify that is one and or one side of the condition, not on the both side of the and therefore it is more simpler than the if statement. Students, you have to study the chapter number 4 from pages 27 to 30 for these topics so that you can learn the topic more better. Thank you.